As humans have developed their eating and drinking culture, kitchens and tables have also taken their share from the richness of that culture. From the Anatolia steppes to the Mediterranean and Aegean coasts, the richness of the tables set on our territories and in our kitchens has been passed down throughout the centuries. When the Turkish migrants of the Anatolia steppes transitioned to settled life, they were heirs to a culinary culture which come from the Sumerian and Hittite territories. The clay of these territories is used from the pottery made 9,000 years ago to the pottery of Central Anatolian, which were used at Troya, and to the Çanakkale ceramics of the 18th century, which were produced after 3,700 years from that date. The Neolithic period people of Çatalhöyük brought terracotta pottery into social life using the carry at Konya Plain. Food is protected in those thick-sided, shallow, and herbal supplement terracotta pots that are produced at every home. In the Middle Bronze Age, that is, in the year 5000 BC, people start to produce lathe-made pottery, and in this way, the trade of pottery becomes common. In other words, kitchenware takes a place in trade history. This is the first big step. And after 6,000 years of the production of the first lathe-made pottery in Anatolian territories, at today's Turkey, the annual growth rate of porcelain and ceramic firms will come up to 20%, according to the data of Turkey Statistical Institute. Metal goods influence the culture of kitchen and table as much as terracotta. Central Asia is rich in mine, and Turks developed the art of metalworking in the best manner during the Neolithic age. The first copper object found at the archaeological excavations in Samarra and Khorasan reveals the most beautiful examples of that art. When Evliya Çelebi was talking about the march past of the artisan soldier, when he is expressing the artisan of boilermaker, the artisan of copper shiner and tinman, he says that the period when the cooker and boiler is made from iron coincides with the period of Hazreti Davut, that is, at the first 1000 before Christ. Actually, the art of mining, which Turks bring from Central Asia to Anatolia, develops at Southeast and East Anatolia. The ewers, kettles, coffee pots, and braziers of Mardin, trays, salvers, plates, boilers, and ladles are famous. And the kitchen utensils of Antep, the utensils of thousands of years ago, converted to steel cookers. The investments done on this field at the last 20 years convert into production directed to export on a large scale. The 2007 and 2008 export quantity at the industry of kitchen utensils and table from iron and steel is nearly $350 million. The utensils, which are formalized by the copper masters from Mardin, Urfa, and Antep, lie from the cities of Anatolia to the Sultan's palaces. The tradition of copper goods, which comes from the period of seigneury, preserves its effects at the Ottoman period. Today, just visiting the kitchen part of the Topkapı Palace Museum reveals the reality. The kitchen organization at Topkapı Palace develops at second half of the 16th century, and palace kitchen improves at 17th century. After the period of Kanuni, the use of porcelain spreads. In the later periods of the Ottoman Empire, around 1800, a new approach is taken to the culture of eating and drinking. They will transition from trays to salvers, and from floor tables to European-style tables with chairs. Sultan II Mahmud was the first sultan who used knives and forks at those tables. At the second half of 1880, though Ottoman-style tables are used in Anatolia and some parts of the capital, kitchenware stores start to be displayed at Istanbul during the modernization period of the Ottoman Empire. At this period and after, during the 20th century, the hotels of Istanbul, which are as good as the ones of Europe, compete for presenting both Europe food culture and Ottoman food at their restaurants and kitchens. All of those cause a great amount of flow of kitchenware goods from Europe. Those imported products forced the establishment of a local factory, Yıldız Çini Fabrikayı Humayunu. The products of Yıldız porcelain spread not only to the palaces, but also step by step to all society. Yıldız Porcelain Factory will lead to the foundations like Sümerbank of Republic of Turkey and private sector foundations of today's porcelain world.
Bu fabrikaya İş Bankası 1,5 milyondan fazla para sarf etti. Bak şimdi memleketin ihtiyacı olan her çeşit cam ve şişeyi çıkarmak istiyoruz. Tecrübeler ve tam bir muvaffakiyet ümidini vermektedir. Kezalik memleketin bugünkü istilakının hepsini bu fabrika temin edebilecektir.
We should mention the leader role reflected today of Paşabahçe Bottle and Glass Factory, which was established by the directives of Mustafa Kemal Atatürk and was the first glass producer of Turkey. Turkey has come in second at Europe and third at world from the date of opening of Paşabahçe, who develops the glass and crystal working coming from Ottoman, for example, the traditional Beykoz glass art and the style of Çeşme Bülbül, to nowadays. Turkey has investments of glass industry in the countries as Bulgaria, Russian Federation, and China. The sum of those foreign investments is about 900 million American dollars. The regime of the young Republic of Turkey was going to follow the conception of modern comfort of Europe. Even not all Turkey, the ladies of big cities were going to meet with Kitchener called oven and first import refrigerator. The words AGA oven or frigidaire were going to be used in our daily life. Since 1960, the order of aluminum, iron, and steel widely used in the manufacture of kitchen utensils. From pots to pans, the hygienic quality of the product will increase. The kitchenware sector, be acquainted with the technology innovation, will increase the quality and the capacity of productions in plastic and melamine tableware and kitchenware. Sector in the period 2007 and 2008 exported melamine and plastic goods to 120 countries for $300 million. In the 1980s, the transition from electrical instruments to electrothermal tools in the kitchenware world led to a new generation product and a renewal in the industry in general. Over the next 10 years, the production rate doubled. From water heaters to toasters to small electrical household appliances, such as the mixer and the blender, exports of the new generation of kitchenware products reached the $1 billion mark in 2007 and 2008. With the 2000s years, the sector will capture a high export performance. Turkish kitchenware goods will be exported to Germany, Israel, Iraq, and many other countries. Domestically, the traditional structure of Turkish society is such that on occasions of marriage or the celebration of special days, kitchenware products receive top attention as potential gifts. Of course, today the kitchenware sector's product range to the gifts area extending well beyond a variety. The fairs which the sectors presented, hotels, bars, cafes, and restaurants of the system, fair for food and beverage exhibitions, decorations of exhibition equipment goes to the fair. But in the traditional framework, one of the defining phenomenon of the kitchenware sector is custom marriage items. In Istanbul, Zücder Piyasa Street, the Museum of Zücder accepts its visitors in two different building display. The wedding pieces of works which became the subject of old-time glamorous wedding pieces of works animate our tradition of portions very well. We talked about the variety of the fairs which the kitchenware sector presents, but we must emphasize that today the kitchenware world in Turkey has a permanent trade fair. There are exactly 5,200 stores among the wholesale market, which brings over 40 business lines together in İstoç. This means that for the Istanbul Wholesaler Bazaar, the kitchenware sector has an important place. İstoç, which is gradually becoming a brand, is a necessary address for Anatolian merchants. In today's Turkey, one of the main power the kitchenware world owns is Zücder, which carry on its actions in sectors based on its members. Zücder, with a total of 155 members, administrative staff, and board of directors, sees itself responsible for improving the brands and the products open up to the world. Zücder has undertaken a mission such as raising the awareness of the consumer and the retailer. To this end, Zücder, together with the cooperation of Boyut Publications Group, has brought the Focus on Kitchenware World periodical to the kitchenware world. And from the Çatalhöyük pottery to modern Anatolian house, 9,000 years of time continues to carry on its authority.